Hey, I'm Riley, and this is the Superhuman Podcast. At Superhuman, we bring you cutting edge insights from health experts and high performers to help you unlock your body's full potential, supercharge your mind, and achieve more with less effort. Do you want to fix nagging health issues, boost productivity, spark genius ideas, master stress, build better relationships, and increase your income? It all starts by optimizing your inner machinery. My guest today is a very special one, Alexandre Ouaknine. Alexandre has spent nearly 3 decades working at the edge of technology where complex systems meet real-world human behavior. After 29 years in IT, he built something most people thought was impossible. He's the creator of Ulys Quest, first of its kind platform that merges real-time geospatial technology, blockchain, and gamification into a living digital treasure hunt that gets people exploring the physical world with purpose. What makes this actually so unique, though, is that most builders master one of these domains. Very few ever touch two. He's lived across all three. And this isn't just a nab, it's a accumulation of a career spent bridging code and culture, data and discovery, and technology and human curiosity. So I'm really excited today to unpack how this works. Why does it matter for you? And what it says about the future of how we interact with the real world. So, Alexandre, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Riley. It's a real pleasure and an honor to be here.
Yeah, it's really an honor to have you on. So, I guess, where do we start with this? I guess it's the origin story. So, take me back to the early days. Like, where did this all begin for you to begin with into entrepreneurship or maybe bridging into entrepreneurship?
When it comes to entrepreneurship, I think I was inspired by my father, who was an entrepreneur all his life. And because of my nature, I have never really functioned well as an employee in a company. So it was natural for me to always be an entrepreneur. So I found my way, let's say 1995, when I got my first computer, and I fell in love with technology, and I forged my path in information technology. So I started as a system administrator or network administrator, a system administrator, cloud engineer, worked my way up all the way to chief technology officer. And I worked in very, very big companies with like billion-dollar market caps and over 10,000 employees.
Wow, fascinating. 29 years, I've talked to quite a few people in IT. The years just seem to go by fast, as it does with all of us as the years go by more and more and more. So after 29 years in IT, what was the moment you realized that what you're doing now with Ulys Quest wasn't just interesting, but something you had to build?
Well, I came across a serious problem, what we call now the great flattening, which means that everybody over 50 years old is now considered too old, too expensive, and overqualified. And especially with AI, they're replaceable. So companies prefer to hire junior staff, train them, they're cheaper, and they've leveled down completely like the upper management, and really got down to like hands-on micromanaging people, but directly from ownership. Most companies went down that path, even very big companies. So I had really a lot of trouble like finding work, which is the reality for a lot of people my age today. So I figured that the best way of solving this problem was to build my own platform, build my own business. So I started coding, and I came across an incredible idea. I built the first ever Web3 travel to earn ecosystem. So Ulys Quest is actually a defined by 3 words. You visit, you confirm, and you earn. So we have 103,173 landmarks or locations in our database. You, as a tourist or even as a local, you visit one of these landmarks, you confirm your presence, and that's where we use the geospacing technology, and you are rewarded with Quest tokens that we minted on the Solana blockchain. So with that, I incorporated AI. So I use artificial intelligence. I trained Claude Sonnet 4.5. I use it through Amazon Bedrock. And it's trained to be an extraordinary virtual tour guide. So now you can go anywhere in the world in 197 countries. You could use our AI agent. It will guide you to locations nearest you using your phone's GPS location. It's going to give you all the information about the site you're visiting, architectural facts, historical facts, fun facts. But also, if you're in a city or in a country and you've never been there, you could use our AI Quest generator. So our AI agent will build a route of several locations within your vicinity so you can optimize your tourist experience and optimize also your Quest token collection as a reward.
Fascinating. I don't know what to say. Everything is just so easy when you seem to integrate this. And I'm sure the journey to building it has been quite the ups and downs too along the way.
Well, that's where some people consider me superhuman because it took
Okay.
me 2 years and 4,000 hours to code it. I was so locked in, as we say in the jargon of
Wow.
this environment, that I was working 12 hours a day minimum. When I was going to sleep and I was waking up, the only thing I had on my mind was delivering a fully functional product and not just an MVP, a minimum viable product. So I delivered a fully functional product when I launched.
And that's what something you see so much in today's day and age. It's hard to separate. You don't see greatness as much as maybe you once did in the really early days of this because some stuff is so easy to build an MVP. I see it in like the online coaching space and different online, educational programs and everything. To see this and come across it, like it's fascinating. The fact that you put that many hours into it. I mean, you're definitely reaching superhuman status with that for sure. Now you're also merging like geospatial tech, blockchain, and gamification. Which of these was actually the hardest to get right? And why?
Well, wow, that's a tough question. It's not which one was the most complicated to, let's say, manage or to integrate. It was how to
Mm,
combine all of them together to work together. Because
right.
there's the infrastructure part. We're hosting this on Ubuntu servers with Nginx instead of Apache, multi-threading. The platform is coded in a PHP Slim framework, which works with API endpoints. So it works with an SQL database. The API endpoints communicate with the SQL database. And on the front end, it's HTML5 with JavaScript vanilla,
Mm,
CSS3, and we use functions in PHP that communicates with an Axios call to the API endpoints to communicate with the SQL database. So when just one user goes to one location and confirms his presence, there's literally hundreds of exchanges of information that happen. This whole machinery is extremely sensitive, is extremely complex. In a platform like ours, if you just have one comma out of place in the code, the whole platform stops working. So that was the toughest part, getting
oof.
everything to work in sync. And it works
Yeah.
beautifully. We now have people all over the world going to locations that are exotic. Like 2 days ago,
Mm,
I'm actually broadcasting live between 4 and 12 hours per day promoting this now. We have a big community online. They're all ecstatic and like completely sold on this. And we have people like going in every country, in every continent. They're filming themselves at a landmark, confirming their
mm.
presence, receiving their Quest token rewards, and then we're sharing this on social media to give like social proof that it works.
Fascinating. And I mean, building this, the margin of error was probably so small, but what you built now is just a beautiful orchestra that's working in harmony now. Everybody is using it too. So I really salute you for all the hours that you put in and also to have that vision to stay so monofocused in a world that's so full of distraction. That's incredible. So what were your personal keys to success with this? I'd imagine like any vision can triumph, any distraction, but was there things that you were doing along the way to help you on this journey to building this masterpiece?
Okay, the first thing and the most important one is that when you want to dedicate yourself entirely to something, to a project of this magnitude, you
Mm,
first and foremost need the full support of your family. So the support of my wife and
mhm.
my children was critical, knowing that if I start, I go to the end. When I start something,
Yeah,
I finish it completely. And since this is revolutionizing the tourist industry, I had no benchmark. I had nothing to compare it with, and
mhm.
I didn't know if there would be adoption or not. So it's a big risk, financial risk,
Sure.
personal risk. Instead of trying to find a job doing this, having the backing of your family is first and foremost the key to saying, okay, now I'm confident that I can go all in. I've got support
Mhm.
on this. So that's the first thing. Second, you need to have a drive and need to have a mindset of somebody that doesn't quit. And
Mm,
today, the younger generation, I'm sorry to say, they have zero patience.
mhm.
They have been used to like they think that life is like a video game where, you play, you win, you're rewarded right away. If you play, but if you fail, you just restart the stage in the game that you're on, and you keep on moving on. But that is so
Yeah,
far
that's
from
right.
reality.
Yeah.
So that to have that determination and keep on going. And I think that the third thing, I'm sorry, is just my experience. I've
Mhm.
learned to separate my emotions from my mental state, and that's an art. It's that's something we can develop on, but that's really important because when I stop working, even if I'm locked into this and I have a lot of drive and determination, when I stop and it's time for dinner and you're with the family, I shut my brain off from work completely. And that helps also when I go to sleep because I sleep like a baby. I
Mhm.
know that when I'm not working because I have something else to do, thinking about something else, not being mindful. So, mindfulness is the magic word. You have to be
Mhm.
in the present moment, concentrate on what you're doing in the present moment, not let your mind go somewhere else and be back into work because it's not going to solve anything. You only
Mhm.
solve things when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the action, when you're actually, like in my case, coding. And
Sure.
if I don't disconnect and recharge, I can't be as efficient the next day.
Yeah. It's so key. And I think people who are striving towards something, I think a lot of listeners are building a startup, an entrepreneur, like trying to reach excellence in some way. It's so hard for them to shut their brain off when they're just thinking all the time. They've got podcasts in their ear about success. They're reading books about it. Like the brain just isn't shut off about it, which I guess is good, but you really need that, especially if you have other people in your life and to recharge that batteries. Because when you're not thinking about it, then you're actively recovering your brain too, instead of stressing about it, waking up in the middle of the night about it. And then when you go back to do that thing, you're just not as productive. So, that's not an overnight process. It probably takes months or years to do that. But at least with that awareness, you just planted the seed for people to begin to start doing that. Now, you had mentioned something else, which is really, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, if you're young and you don't have this experience, find a mentor. Everybody needs
Mhm.
to have a mentor. That is critical. Even me at my age, I do have people advising me that have joined my community. And it's not a question of age. Some are much younger, but they bring in expertise where I don't have it. That's why Steve Jobs always said, hire somebody smarter than you, but listen to
Yeah.
them. So yeah, sorry, that was an important point.
Yeah, it's so true. Like I've heard people call it like your board of advisors. You always want to be surrounded by people who can give you different expertise and different things. And sure, I mean, you can try and be the hero and figure it all out yourself, but that's going to take a whole lot of extra time and mistakes that you're making yourself. So read the book, hire the people, become friends with them, like whatever it takes. I've just seen it so much too. So that's definitely superhuman. Now you had also mentioned about, the digital world and a lot of the younger generation being stuck within the digital world. And do you see this, what you're doing now, as a way to bring people back into the physical world rather than pulling them further online?
That was the whole purpose of it, because in our case,
I thought
it's
so.
a real world experience. People have to actually go
Mhm.
out, go find the landmark, and
Yeah.
confirm their presence over there in the physical world. So I'm not
Mhm.
detaching them from their favorite device. They still have it, they
Mhm.
still use it, they're still attached to the technology, but they go out in the real world, and then it opens possibilities for them to rediscover maybe their own city. When you use,
Mhm.
for example, the AI tour guide and it gives you a complete rundown of the monument you're visiting, you're probably learning things about monuments in your own city that you never knew. And even if you
Mhm.
had your high school history teacher with you along the way,
I was about
you
to say.
wouldn't get the kind of information that artificial intelligence can give you in this case.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And
that's
most
the
for falling
kind of,
asleep. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I definitely didn't pay attention. I don't think in my history class, but to rediscover it on my own terms where I'm interested on it, you just give people the tools to do that on their own. So, I think that's incredible. Now, I'm so fascinated about how you've used your systems thinking. Basically, you've lived across multiple technical disciplines.
Yeah.
How did thinking in systems help you solve problems that could be solved, let's say, in isolation?
Okay. My brain trained itself through the years. It wired itself to be able
Mm,
to locate and solve problems instantly. People call that, I call it like instinct, but it's not instinct in the way or you're taking a wild guess. The word instinct for me means that my brain is using all the experience that I've accumulated in the past 29 years. And when I
mm,
see in front of me um, an issue, a problem, my brain makes the calculation faster than I can even realize it and
mm,
uses all the experience that I have, and automatically just the solution comes up. But it's not because I'm a magician. It's because that's what instinct is all about, is using all
mm,
the information that you've stored for so long, and your brain works faster than you even realize it. So you have to trust yourself, trust your
mhm,
instincts. You're not realizing it, but your brain is telling you something. And
mhm.
usually your first impression is the right one. So
Yeah.
that's how I navigate through these challenges. I trust myself and I trust my gut feeling because I know that it's my experience telling me something important.
Yeah. I think that is so important because on one side, we have our logical brain, and on the other side, we have our intuition. And I think in modern society, they emphasize and put more importance on the logical side instead of intuition because it's not really tangible and it's not something that like day to day society operates on. But like the true masters I've had on the show in their own domain, who you read about, there is this dance between the intuition and the logic. And if you have too much logic, it gets in the way of intuition, it doesn't flow, and it just becomes paralysis by analysis. And you're just slowing yourself down and you're putting resistance there when it doesn't have to be, where you just go with the flow. You let the logic come when it needs to, or, day to day, more practically, if you're just in the shower and that idea pops up, that's not usually happening when you're consciously thinking about a problem. I mean, sometimes it does, but it's usually when your unconscious mind is thinking about it and then boom, you get the idea. I mean, that's happened to me. I can think of at least 7 times over the last 2 years that has led to like crazy amounts of leverage. And you've probably seen that same thing too, right?
Yes, well, um, trusting yourself is something that's sometimes can be difficult based on your past or your history, depending on the kind
Mm,
sometimes of education that you have or your culture. Or if you've been unlucky and you had, like, for example, narcissistic parents that have been
yeah.
um, often criticizing you or not like pulling you up but pushing you down, so you can constantly doubt yourself. So that is, yeah, that could be challenging in some aspects. But I don't know how to explain it at my age. I'm 55 years old now. And yeah, I coach a lot of young people today. I am a mentor to a lot of people just around me in my crew. And it's amazing how just giving a confidence boost to somebody that elevates
Mhm,
his self-esteem and it's his self-worth, brings that person to another level. It doesn't take much to do something good for a human and to turn him into a superhuman. You just have to give him the right push in the right direction,
mhm,
like encourage him, not hold him back, and not be afraid of
mhm.
making mistakes. Now that
Yeah.
also is one of the keys. Make mistakes. You can't
Yeah.
make an omelet without breaking eggs. You know, you've heard this kind of thing, but it's
Mhm,
absolutely true. Errors
yeah.
are part of the process. With every mistake that you make, it's the lesson that you learn. And sometimes
Mhm,
with these errors, the final product is even improved or better because it takes you in another direction. And it makes
mhm,
you realize, in the case of technology, for example, that I could have left a major breach in the system if I hadn't made that error that helped me realize that there was an error,
yeah.
there was something in my code that needed to be corrected. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. On the contrary, be happy that they happen. This is even the principle of science. In science, if somebody makes a discovery and he even wins a science Nobel Prize, uh, he's very happy if another scientist comes and proves him wrong. Then they start
Mhm,
brainstorming and they find the right answer. He actually wants to be proven wrong. It's
yeah.
actually exciting. So,
Yeah. Fail faster, as they say. Really cool. Now, switching gears a little bit, blockchain often gets sometimes reduced to speculation. I'm really curious, how did you design the token and the EFT elements so they support the exploration and meaning, not just incentives.
Yeah, now that's the mind-blowing part of the whole thing. So we reward
Yeah.
people with Quest tokens when they visit Landmark, but I needed something to counterbalance the fact that I'm distributing a lot of tokens to people. So since
Right.
we launched it
Yeah.
on the Solana blockchain, I had to acquire the supply on the blockchain like everybody else. So I had to buy some supply, it cost me money, and then I'm giving it for free. But now every single landmark in the database, over 100,000 landmarks, as we said, I am converting them into digital real estate. So each one becomes a landmark NFT. But forget the NFT in the sense of digital art, not at all. Yeah, you do get a nice picture with it, like you buy the Eiffel Tower, or the Statue of Liberty, or the Bean in Chicago. Yeah, no problem. You got a nice picture of it, digital art. But that's not all about it. If you own, for example,
Nice.
the Eiffel Tower, you are the only owner of the Eiffel Tower on our platform. You own that digital real estate on Ulys Quest. Every
Mm.
time somebody goes to the Eiffel Tower and confirms his presence, he receives 50 Quest tokens. But because you own it, you're the sponsor of that platform, you receive 20% commission for life for every visitor.
Wow.
So the guy receives, or the person receives 40 Quest tokens, you get 10. So this is like permanent, perpetual, passive income by owning a digital landmark on our platform. And there's no upkeep. You don't have to take care of like redoing the paint, fixing the roof because there's a leak. Oh, you have a tenant, you didn't pay rent. And the amounts that you can earn are incredible because you take the Vatican, the most visited landmark in the world. Costs about $120,000 to buy that NFT, but you receive 20% commission for life. And there's 19 million people visiting the Vatican, St. Peter's Basilica, every year. If we take a conservative adoption rate of just 1%, you'd be making about 70,000 per year in passive income. Now, when people buy these NFTs, which are going to represent several millions of dollars with 100,000, I take all that money and I buy back Quest tokens on the blockchain and I lock it in our reserves in a multi-signature wallet. And this way I've just countered like massively the amount of tokens that I distribute, and that keeps the economy balanced. Notwithstanding that, on top of that, I'm going to increase the number of landmarks to probably several hundreds of thousands. So we got a long way to go before we run out or that economy doesn't function anymore.
No kidding. What is the next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years look like with Ulys Quest?
All right. So mass adoption critical. We already have some incredible things going on. So, for example, the Milwaukee Art Museum. We have friends there that are negotiating with the director there to say, let's put a QR code at the entrance of the museum so people start using our platform. And when they're at the museum, they confirm their presence and they get 50 Quest tokens. In counterpart, we turn the Milwaukee Art Museum into an NFT. We gift it to the art museum. And this way, they receive 20% commission for life every time somebody visits them. And it allows them to raise money for the restoration and preservation of the artworks that they're conserving, or even their real estate they're building there. So we're going to help governments actually raise money to preserve and restore landmarks, because governments are actually broke right now. And usually local governments don't really have the funds to take care of these structures. It's very expensive to restore a landmark to what it was originally made of, especially with the same, let's say, stones or rocks, and they're hand carved. And when you want to preserve an artifact the way it is, you have to use the same traditional methods and tools as it was done in the past for it to be authentic. So raising a lot of money for that is possible using our mechanism.
Yeah, that's fascinating. That's the first time I've ever heard of something like that. You're benefiting everybody at the same time. There's no win lose. It's win win across the board. So yeah,
I'll go
I commend
further.
you for doing that. Please.
Thank you. I'll go further. Imagine a homeless person. They all have a mobile device. They could go to a landmark. They can collect free tokens, and it could help them buy a hot coffee, a hot meal, help them out in some way. And they could go into multiple landmarks across their own city. And it's a way for them to earn a little bit of income. So it's helping the homeless. We have the possibility to, in special events, turn that special event, that unique event, into a temporary landmark to raise money for charity, for example. So the
Wow.
applications of the platform are endless.
It doesn't stop. And I'm sure there's things that are going to come up that you're not sure right now what it's going to look like, but there's just going to be more and more very unique innovations coming out of that. How about for the people like since launching using it? What's something users are doing with the platform that genuinely surprised you?
Well, what they're doing that surprised me is actually going outside. You have no idea how hard
Yeah,
it
I
was to
guess so. Geez.
actually convince people to literally go out, find the landmark next to you, and just try it.
Mhm,
But when that
mhm,
started, it had a snowball effect. The people in our community
mhm,
started literally competing against each other to find the coolest landmark. And we got people out. And yesterday there was people going out, let's say at the Washington monument, and it was like minus 19
mhm.
outside. And in the middle of the night, the guy jumped into a cab. He went there, he confirmed his presence, and he filmed it and showed it to our community. So what we're doing is like we're doing contests and competitions, and we're rewarding people by
Cool.
giving them, a landmark NFT, etc. So social proof is important for us, and we're
Yeah.
rewarding them for that. But that was the hardest part. It's actually getting people to get off their very comfortable sofa and get outside and do something
Mhm.
really cool and get paid for it.
And that yeah, get paid for it and be active at the same time and, get more fit while they're doing it. And I mean, I think people to go from 0 to 1 is hard than going from 5 to 10. And so to at least people, like you said, get off their very comfortable sofa to just get out there, start doing it. They start seeing how much better they feel, getting fresh air, seeing these places at the same time while getting paid. I mean, what a better way to get from 0 to 1. I think that's great.
Well, it's the hardest part is to get people to realize that they don't need to make anything out of the ordinary to get involved. You're
Mhm,
driving around in your city all the time. You're going out with your
mhm,
family, you're going around town, and without realizing it, you're constantly going through various landmarks that are in our database. So all you have to
mhm,
do is just use our app and start collecting while you're there. You don't even have to change your schedule. You don't have to go out of your way to do anything crazy. Every single
mhm,
location that we add is a public place. You don't have to pay to access it. If it's a
mhm,
place like a museum where you have to pay, you could confirm your presence at the front door in front of it. You don't have to pay and get in to be rewarded. And it's always in a safe place. You don't have to climb. You don't have to take any risks. And the platform is so simple to use that a 5-year-old child or a 120-year-old man can use it.
sure.
Simplicity.
Yep. Simplicity. I mean, anybody can use this. There's nobody that can't. Who is like the typical avatar of person who's adopting it now, or is it all over the place?
Right now, it's the male crypto fanatic between the
Mm,
age of 20 and 30 years old. That's
okay.
definitely right
Yeah.
now the key demographic. And this is
Yeah.
where our challenge is to get it out of there and bring the Web 2 into Web 3. So we want mass adoption. So the way to
Mhm,
go there is that for people who don't trust crypto yet, or who are not familiar with the mechanics, is to say, fine, visit landmarks. You're going to earn rewards in the form of real money, and we'll give you gift cards, or we'll get
mm,
corporate gifts for you. You'll be able to choose corporate gifts out of our gift shop. And that's where some great, great deals are going to come through. For example, we're going to have airlines, travel agents that are going to love putting
mm,
their booking engines in their country in our database. People are going to be able to book their trips directly in it. So our platform is going to evolve to become a full-blown travel agency
mm,
plus a tour guide, and restaurants and shops and anybody in the tourism sector will want to have a card and be included in there, but not as advertisers. We don't have banner ads, we don't have pop-ups. They're Quest host locations. They become
mm,
partners. We're going to build a quest around your brand. When we send people to your location, it's part of a global quest, and they get rewarded for
mm.
going to your place as well. So if people have to choose to go to a restaurant, they'll probably pick one that's within the options that they have on our platform because they're going to have
Mhm.
an advantage. Maybe they're going
Yeah.
to
Why
get
go
an
anywhere else?
extra more tokens, or they're going to get like free dessert with their meal. So
Mm,
that's I think uh, I could go on for hours throwing at you all the ideas and that I've had it of the direction that platform could take. And the important thing is that I want to preserve it as something that is owned by the public and by the community. So I'm going to turn this into a DAO. It's going to become a decentralized autonomous organization, and the token holders will have the voting rights, and they will be able to decide on the direction that the platform takes, right down to what landmarks we include in the database, to who sits on the board and who has decisional power, and and voting on who's the CEO once I'm gone. So this way, I don't want this company to be turned into another Meta that used to be something for the public and for people to interact with their families, and now it's so spammed with advertising, the platform has become practically unusable. So I don't want this dream to be destroyed by corporate greed, and I'm going to try and keep it out of their hands.
You definitely touched there on, the dream of it and the meaning that it gives you. Could you expand a little bit more on that? Like what wakes you up every single day? What is, like I've said, you touched on that vision, but like, what does that ultimate dream, vision, goal look like if you could say it in a few sentences?
A legacy project that benefits mankind and serves a purpose for humanity. And this is where, for example, the homeless person that could use help, great. Education, schools can use the app. The teachers can go out in town with their class and they could get educated with the AI, etc. But the restoration and preservation of landmarks, all positive things, important things for humanity. But also, the possibility for sorry, I lost my train of thought there. It happens. I was going somewhere good. Yes, we were saying legacy project.
Possibility for humanity.
Yeah, possibility for humanity. So, Mike, sorry about that. Thank God for editing. Huh?
It's all good. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Let me gather my thoughts here. All right, it'll come back to me eventually. I'd just say the legacy project is based on the principle of doing things that are valuable for humanity, the preservation of landmarks, helping the homeless, as we said, by allowing them to get a hot meal. But it also, there's also an important thing. We are a deepened project. We're a decentralized infrastructure project. In what way? We are actually mapping every single landmark of the world in the blockchain by using people that visit these landmarks and confirm their presence over there, by extension, confirming the existence of the landmark. And that's how we're going to have all the landmarks of the world into the blockchain, and they will be mapped. So that too is a bit like the first time that the human genome was discovered and then we mapped the DNA. Well, we're going to map all the landmarks of the world in the database, in the blockchain, using humans as like the proof of work by going there and confirming their presence.
Fascinating. We've covered a lot here, what the vision is, how you're going to be helping a lot of people, a lot of just a lot of things in the world that need a lot of work. And I'm sure people listening to this, whatever, any project business that they're working on, they probably have a similar dream too. So what advice would you give to someone, even maybe later in their career? Because there's a lot of people who did a 9-to-5 job in tech or something else, and maybe they're middle-aged now, and they feel a pull to build something ambitious, but unconventional at the same time. What advice would you give them?
Okay, first and foremost, when you do something, do it because you love it and do it because you believe in it. Don't get involved into something where you think you can make money, but that you do not believe in it. I can't talk like this passionately about my project if I don't have a strong belief in what I'm doing and what I'm building. So you have to believe in something and follow it. Second, you're going to get a lot of hate. You're going to have some people criticizing you. Some people are going to ridicule you. Some people are going to tell you, oh, well, what are you doing this? It's a waste of time. Look, there's too many lawyers on the planet. But if you want to be a lawyer, well, just be the best lawyer there is. Don't be concerned by how many other lawyers there are. So if you have a dream, just believe in it, follow through with it, never give up. And I'm sorry to say, you have to be ready to pay the price. These sacrifices, they cost at every level. So make sure that you never along the way neglect your family and get their blessing and get their backing. On the other hand, if you have a toxic family, then I didn't say anything. Apologies.
That's great. You need a container where you can keep going each day and make the mistakes and have a supportive network, whether it's friends, whether it's family to support you along the way, and then building those castle walls up, so to speak, that if any criticism comes your way, it can easily just be deflected or shut down. You just have to keep moving forward, whatever it takes. And sometimes that's actually a good thing when you have people, maybe the naysayers, because some of the stuff is usually not true, but when it's actually critical feedback, it's not good just to be inside of your own mind and thinking what you think is best is what the market actually needs. So yeah, there's definitely that side of it too. Any last words of wisdom, Alexander, before we close things off today?
Yes, you have two ears and one mouth. Use them
Mm.
proportionally. So listen twice as much as you speak.
Yeah.
Take into account the feedback you're getting. Listen to people around you. Even if you're the smartest person in the room, pay attention. Everything matters. So yeah, that would be my final piece of advice there.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate everything you shared today, and I'm sure our audience got a lot of value from this too. If they want to learn more about you, where can they visit?
All right. I invite them to visit our website first and foremost. It's ulys.site, ULYS, like Uniform Lima Yankee Sierra. .site, Sierra India Tango Echo. You will discover a platform. I invite you to actually join it. It's absolutely free to join, free to use, piece of cake, very easy. And if you're on our website and you go to the footer, you're going to discover all our social media channels. Join us on our Discord and Telegram communities. You're going to feel the energy, the vibe, the intense belief in what we have built here. And you're going to be part of this community, and it's going to give you really, I think, a warm feeling. And you're going to see that you're going to be encouraged when you actually visit a landmark, confirm your presence. You're going to get so much positive vibes from our community that will, be in the adventure with you. So experience something different, and come and find us there. I'm always available to speak personally with absolutely anybody. I'm in the communities there myself, and anybody can communicate with me directly. I always make sure to answer to everyone.
Great. Go join everybody. And we're going to put all that down in the show notes below. And thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you got a lot of value from today's episode. If you're ready to take your health and performance to the next level, you can grab a free Superhuman guide at getsuperhuman.io/playbook. Hit subscribe, share this with someone who needs it. And I'll see you in the next episode. Stay superhuman.